Hi, this is Stephanie Johnson coming to you from Atlanta again. And again this week, Krista and Myers worked together to do Module 7, the social media strategy focusing on our community. I'm going to do the first part of the presentation on the people and the personas in our community, and Krista will wrap up with our goals and objectives that grew out of that analysis. So let's get started. Just a reminder about the community that we're focusing on. This is the Internet Keep Safe Coalition. It is on the internet as iKeepSafe.org. And their vision is listed there, which is, of course, to keep generations of the world's children safely using technology and the internet as they grow up. The mission is to provide parents, educators, and policy makers with the information and tools that empower them to teach children so they can grow up and be safe on the internet. It's a nonprofit founded in 2005, and they focus on all these different topics, predominantly things like cyberbullying, that's been in the news a lot lately, and this concept of digital citizenship, which we can all learn a little bit of. But their overall interests are about prevention and detection, keeping kids safe. Their members predominantly fall into these groups, and they target their information to these groups: professionals, parents, educators, youth, faith-based communities, business and government partners. And they break up the professionals a little bit further, defining them as media, psychologists, cybersecurity professionals, law and legal professionals, and law enforcement professionals and public health professionals. But typical members are parents, educators, and professionals. Those first three there in the bulleted list. We did use the social technographics letter and Gladwell's categories to further define the people we found there in our community. Jacqueline Levitt is the founder of the group, and she's still there on the board of directors. She's heavily involved in some of the creative work that's still going on there. There are some mavens. Jacqueline is not as heavily involved as she used to be. She used to be out front much more than she is now. Marcella Hancock is very much the face of the organization, representing them with groups like the United Nations and other meetings in Switzerland and things like that. So Marcella is definitely the face of the organization now, and definitely a maven. Diana Graber is a partner and founder of an organization called CyberWise. Cyberwise.org is another organization very similar to iKeepSafe, and there's a little bit of cross-promotion going over there. But she's definitely a maven in this group and keeps a lot of the information, keeps it and holds it and shares it. A lot of connectors are involved in this group. Katie Greer is on the advisory board, but is much more active than some of the other advisory board members, is out there tweeting and sharing information on blogs. We actually think she may be moving to maven status just because she's obviously also a caretaker of a lot of information. There's a lot of teachers involved in this effort. As you might can imagine, there's two here listed at the bottom of the slide. Daniel Kent is a teacher's advocate with a lot of followers who often retweet. It's like the Clairol commercial that was mentioned, or the Fabergé commercial that was mentioned in our reading this week. He tells to his friends and so on and so on. He definitely multiplies that. And Elizabeth Calhoun is a Google certified teacher who works for Google, but is definitely involved with the CEO of iKeepSafe and does a lot of teaching and curriculum work here. And then AppCertain is an app that helps families manage and understand mobile devices. And there's a cross-promotion effort there with iKeepSafe. That's a very interesting, it's not a person connector, but it's a thing connector. And I thought that was sort of interesting. We couldn't find a lot of critics for this group, obviously, because the critics of this group would be the bad guys, and they're kind of unseemly and hard to find anyway. So we listed them as online predators and cyberbullies and hackers. We did find some professional trainers who were a little critical of this group because it empowers people who are not professional trainers to go out and teach people, teach other people how to avoid being victims of cyberbullying. So we did put that here just to note it, but there's not a lot of critics of this group. So typically a member of this group is works in either education, cybersecurity, law enforcement, or the legal field, is married with 2 children, usually teenagers or older, is concerned for children's safety for altruistic reasons. It's really just trying to do the right thing, do something good. The demographics skew female, although the people from law enforcement are typically male. Their ages are 45 to 60, a little higher. They are married, so there's usually a dual household income, but the range is pretty wide here. You've got the founder here in this picture who her husband was a cabinet member for the last president. She was, former governor, former first lady. And you have other individuals who perhaps don't have that kind of income status. So it's a pretty wide range. It does skew suburban as well. Identifiers include people who are pretty computer savvy. A lot of them are from computer companies and software companies. They shop online. They're very comfortable in that environment, and they are relatively conservative. So one of the things that we looked at was where they spend their time, where they talk. This is their website. They don't spend a lot of time on their website. They do have a blog there though, and they share a lot of information on their blog, but when you click to post a comment, you'll notice there's no comments. It goes directly to a corporate email, so there's no comments here. Where they do spend a lot of their time and interaction is on Twitter, and they do talk a lot with each other, and they do tweet with different groups, you'll see, and they do share information back and forth a lot. So we think that would be the platform with which to engage this group. We think that in order to engage them, we should talk to them about something that's in the news. For example, the recent changes that Facebook made with security settings where your profile could be searchable. This group would probably have a lot to say about that. They also like to talk about special events, and they do have some PSAs. They like that a lot, so they would probably love to talk about that. But we think that the best approach to get them would be to talk to them on their Twitter page. On Facebook, they do like to have quizzes and other competitions, other little efforts like that, but they do tend to have more information on Twitter, so we think that would be the way to approach that. Now you're going to hear from Krista, who's going to talk about the O and the S part of our strategy. Krista?